Welcome to the Other Side Pod. I'm Nadine. We're not experts. We're just humans having a human experience we think you can learn from, or relate to, or laugh at, or cry over. So hit download, dive in, and hear how folks found themselves on the other side. We are recording with Donna. Donna, I know you love music and I know you know music really well and you listen to a lot of music. I want to know, what is a song or an artist or an album that's brand new to you that you are loving right now?
Oh God, this is going to sound so ridiculous, actually. So, brand new to me,
Yes.
Louis Tomlinson from One Direction.
Stop. What's the song?
His whole new album, it's called How Did I Get Here? And the reason I know it right now is because my daughter is obsessed. So, she's 9 and she loves One Direction. Like, I'm like, honey, you know that they broke up like 10 years ago, right? And she's like, yeah, I know, but it's all she listens to. And she really honed in on him and then started listening to his albums. And he has like 3 or 4 solo albums. And so I almost couldn't help but become very well versed in his music. And now I love it. It's so fun. It's so, yeah, unexpected for me because, he's from a boy band, but he was so young when he did that. And it's kind of nice to see how he has grown up and how his music has changed from being in this little pop band that was started from, God, what was
A
it?
TV show, I think, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it wasn't X Factor, I think, in Britain, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I should know because I literally know everything about them now.
That's the band that Harry Styles was in, right?
Yes, yes.
Harry Styles fans right here. I literally just wrote our joint friend Lisa, and I was like, Harry Styles would be such a good concert.
Oh, he's doing like 10 in London in like June. 10
Oh
shows. Yeah, Wembley. Is it
my
Wembley? Yeah.
God. I
Yeah.
love him so much.
So
Did you
we're
see
going.
what?
No, no, not to Harry. I bought my daughter tickets to see Louis in July in Toronto for
I
her
love that. I was
birthday.
excited for your daughter from what I like, but you're like, no, Nadine, this is what it is to have a child. It's what she
Oh,
wants to do.
you gotta
Wait,
do what she
I-
wants.
does she know?
She keeps begging me, and I'm always just like, maybe, okay, maybe we'll see. I'm not making any promises, but yeah, I bought them, so we're going.
When are you going to give it? When are you going to tell her?
I'll tell her like probably I haven't decided, like I can't keep a secret. I'm so bad at it. Like I don't know how I'll keep it in. Secrets like that because I just want to see her
Yeah.
excitement because I know she's gonna lose her shit. Are we allowed to swear? Can we swear?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
okay. I'm a big swearer.
Sames.
So yeah, I just know she's gonna be so excited as long as she stays on the bandwagon until then, 'cause they're
Right.
so
9.
fickle, right?
Listen, I sleep in the New Kids on the Block t-shirt that I got for my 13th birthday. It's currently with me here in Ottawa. And it's like, I don't know if you remember you remember New Kids on the Block, but they had this line of merch with all their handprints on it.
Oh my God, I know. Yeah, I remember.
So like
Loved
that
them.
was a couple of years ago. She'll still be in it. She'll still be
Oh,
into
she will be. Yeah.
July. You're the best mom. Speaking of, did you always know you wanted to be a mom?
So I did. I really did. I don't think it was ever like in this obvious way. Like I wasn't thinking about it when I was young or anything, but it was something that was always, I think, inside me. It wasn't about babies specifically. It was more about like a sense of wanting to love and raise a child was something I was meant to do. And I think that my brother and his 2 children, like I was very, very, and still am very present in their lives. And I mean, I was their babysitter. Parker and Anna, I mean, they were my little sidekicks, right? So yeah, I had them. And I guess for most of my life, I assumed it would just happen the traditional way. I never really question that when I was young, but I think even when I was younger, the desire to be a mother was it felt separate from the idea of marriage or a partnership. You know, like it was always its own thing. And looking back now, I think, yeah, my heart probably always knew it, what I was going to do, and that that was going to be the path I took. Even though I didn't know it, I couldn't say it or I couldn't put words to that. I never thought about marriage. I never thought about weddings. I just kind of assumed it would happen that way, I suppose. That's what you did, right?
That's what you did. We're
That's
both
what
from
you did.
Newfoundland, and it's kind of we grew up in a traditional place,
Yeah,
where and it was
very.
way more traditional time and kind of closed-minded time in many ways in the 90s, and not just because we were in Newfoundland, that was a lot of the world, and still is in some places. But yeah, I also assumed I was like, yep, get married and have kids because it was just the example all around. Before we get into what you ended up doing and this beautiful soul that you're raising, tell us who you are.
I am. Oh God, Nadine. That's not an easy question. Who am I? Wow. Well, I think that I would describe myself as if I was to use like one or two words, I would probably the first word I would use would be I'm an artist for sure. I'm a musician. That's my passion. I'm a mom, definitely. That defines me in many, many ways, although I try very hard to not let it be the only thing in my life that defines me. Yeah, and I think I'm just kind of like a creative soul out here trying my best to foster creativity in my life when sometimes I just don't have time to do it, but I really still want to. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's
I,
who I am.
I have a cute little story. I don't know if I ever told you. We connected in a master's program. We both did our master's in business.
Yeah.
But before that, we went to the same high school, but you were a couple of years ahead of me, and our grades didn't necessarily hang out. So you
Right.
were always like this person ahead of me. And when I was little, when I was in junior high, I played the flute. So you were this constant in my life because you're a very talented, gifted, and hard-working flute player. Flautist? Flautist?
Loudest. Yes. Both.
Um, and just remember you playing. I remember I think I played for 3 years. I think I quit in grade like 9 or 10 just because my brain I got distracted. But I always remember you. I almost have you on this like musical pedestal.
That is so cute.
So I
That
always knew
is
who you
so
were
sweet.
in the Newfoundland Orchestra now.
Yes, I mean, I play with the Newfoundland Symphony. That is my,
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
yeah, second job, I
Beautiful.
suppose. Yeah.
When did you officially decide and how that now is the time I'm going to have a baby on my own? You were like, this is it. I'm going to do it. It's now or
Yeah.
never. How?
Well, I mean, as I was getting older, I guess, I think, well, I was 40 when I decided to go for it.
Okay.
And I think the idea itself, though, was floating around in my mind a little bit before that, probably mid 30s. But I think 40 was the moment where I stopped thinking someday and realized that, oh, girl, you're 40. You got to do it. It's now or never, right? So I think I realized then that waiting for the perfect circumstances or the perfect person might mean waiting forever or it wasn't going to come. And I was actually up visiting my friend Kristen, who had just had a baby at that time. And so I went up to spend a couple of weeks with them. And I was in a relationship at that time. So I had started thinking about it and had gone to the fertility clinic and everything when I was like 38. And then I met somebody and he was wonderful, super sweet guy. We had a lot of great things in common. Just didn't work. Just wasn't for me. We just weren't a match at the end of the day, I guess. And so I remember we were walking around Kent's Pond. We sat down on a bench and he started talking about like, oh, maybe the next year we'll go on a mountain biking trip down in the mountains, like Appalachian Trail and stuff. And that's what I was like, oh my God. No, you don't know me, obviously. Like, that's not happening, right? I want to have a baby And we had talked about a little bit about marriage and going that next step. And so I think that's what I knew. Anyway, we broke up there on that bench. I yeah, I said, "I don't think that we want the same things." Yeah, and then the next day I went to Toronto to visit Kristen, and that's when went to meet the baby, and that's when I knew. And that was in July, I think, and then I flew home. Well, I called the fertility clinic when I was up in Toronto, and she said, "You're really lucky you called because after not coming back for a year, because it had been a year before that I had went, and then I had met my partner right after that." She said, "After a year, you need a new referral, but tomorrow it's a year."
Oh my God,
So,
stop.
yeah. So I got an appointment and I went when I got home. I went and we started. So yeah, it was floating around in my head, just the idea of it. And then that was when I realized when I was up in Toronto holding Kristen's and Marty's little girl, Frances. And I mean, I would cry all the time when I was holding her, like, and I'm like, I'm 40. If I don't do this, like, there's no time. I'm not going out looking for somebody to have a child with when I don't have to,
Right.
you know? So yeah, that's how it happened, really.
So in your 30s, you were meeting people, dating, and like the idea was, I will meet someone and we'll both hopefully want similar things and we'll want kids together.
Yeah.
And then when you hit 38 and you were like, there's nobody in my life right now that I'm prepared to have a kid with, that's
Yeah.
when you went. And then, of course, you meet someone. Right. And so, because it sneaks up on us, is why I'm going through this, because 40 just all of a sudden happens. I think when we're in our 30s, it's like, yeah, that will happen, or I will have kids, or and we were just chatting about how it just seemed like the thing we would do because that's what we grew up around, people getting married and having kids. And I had the opposite experience that I got married, as you know, when I was younger. And
Mhm.
then when we divorced, because we were only married for a year, I had this like sensation of I don't have to have kids. Not
Right.
because
Right.
I wouldn't have been a good mom and he wouldn't have been a good dad. I just remember I wasn't actually making the decision. So on the
Yeah.
flip side, a few more years later, you were like, I need to actually proactively make this decision.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
exactly right.
Is the clinic in Newfoundland? In
Yes.
St. John's?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Clinics in Newfoundland.
Um, and what kind of clinic is it? Fertility clinic or?
So yeah, it's the fertility clinic. So they have, I mean, this was 10 years ago now, but I think it's expanded a lot recently, but you couldn't do IVF in the province, which is in vitro fertilization, but I could do IUI in the province. So that's intrauterine insemination. And I went to my appointment. She said, "Look, you're 40, 5 to 10% chance that this will
Oh,
work for you using IUI." Right?
okay.
Because basically IUI is you have a vial of sperm from the donor you choose. You lie down and they put a tube to the bottom of your cervix and they insert the sperm and they're like, hopefully one will find an egg. So it's just basically the same kind of chances that you have of trying to get pregnant naturally at 40, right? You would be very surprised, probably, if you haven't looked into it, how small every year your chances get smaller after like 35. It's the biological clock is a real thing, right?
When they told you 5 to 10% chance, what went through your head?
Well, I had bought 3 vials of sperm from the donor that I had chosen.
From the
So
same
I
donor?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So I said, "Okay, I have 3 tries to do it this way. I'm gonna do it because IVF is like $1 billion, you know?" But I had gone to the bank and I got a loan. I got like a $50,000 loan because 5 to 10%, like the chances of me having to go to that step were very, very high. So I needed to make sure I had the finances in place to do it just because time was ticking.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it worked on my 3rd try. It was my last file. It worked. And it was
Cold shivers.
yeah, I couldn't believe it. Because the first 2 times, and, like, the things you put yourself through, right, when you're trying to do it that way is, I mean, there was medications involved, there were, like, trigger shots to ovulate, it was all very precisely timed throughout your cycle, and chances were so low. So when I got that "you're pregnant" on the little digital one, I couldn't believe it. I was really shocked. Then it was real.
So each vial was that a month cycle?
Yeah, month
Okay,
cycle.
so at the end of the month, you didn't get pregnant. You could try the next month. You didn't have to wait 3 months or anything like that.
No, no, you could just do it the next month.
Okay, and then how many the shots were hormones?
Yeah, so
Did you do that?
oh God. So at the beginning of your cycle, there was a regimen you had to follow. And then in the middle of your cycle, when we ovulate, I would have to do a trigger shot, like a needle, and I would just put it in my leg. And that would basically give me a window of when I was going to be ovulating. So it would make
Okay.
it happen at a certain time, essentially. And the medication that I had taken in the beginning of the cycle was to increase the chances of me producing an egg. Because at
40.
40, you don't know if you're producing viable eggs, right? So
You have
I
to get all
think,
that tested beforehand?
oh yeah, I went through
Yeah,
lots of
okay.
testing.
Okay.
But she said, look, everything looks good. But even when everything looks perfect, but there still is only a 5 to 10% chance. It's science, it's math. And that's an average, right? As an individual, it could have been way higher for me. I don't know. All of our bodies are so different. I mean, that's just
Mhm.
it's statistics, right? But you
Did anybody
grab
go with
onto
you?
that. So no, I did all of that myself. I I like, yeah, did all of that first 3 months. I just kind of did it myself. Like at this point, I had not even really told my mom that I was doing it.
What? Your
Yeah.
sister, a friend,
Oh yeah.
somebody.
Oh, well, I'd started a blog, so yeah, I was sharing it.
Wait, you
Um,
started a blog and you were like, Mom won't know?
yeah, no, my mom, there was no way she was ever going to read that blog. Like, no. So yeah. So yeah, I did start the blog, and I was excited at first when I started the blog. It was like, this is going to be so fun. And I got so much support, like from people, and people kind of came out of the woodwork. And even just to say, man, good for you. That's so cool. Like people you don't know very well. But yeah, but then after like the first month and it didn't work, and I would blog about it. And then after the second try, it didn't work, and I would blog about it. And then you start getting like, should I have started this blog? Like, you know what I mean? This
Yeah.
is really vulnerable stuff. And I expressed all of my disappointment. But yeah, then when it worked, it was like, writing my blog.
I can't wait to write my
I
blog.
can't wait to write my blog. Everyone's gonna be so happy for me.
So when did you tell your mom? Like after you got pregnant?
Yeah, I was probably 3 or 4 months. And I went away for work. I went to Halifax. I had to go to Halifax for 2 full weeks. And I was in a hotel by myself for 2 weeks, and then I'd go to the office, and it was basically 2 weeks of me trying to figure out how I was going to tell mom. My mom is super Catholic. She is
Mm.
super religious, Catholic. That's all I'm going to say. She was born in 1946. My whole life was, when are you going to meet someone? When are you going to find someone? You're too picky. You're too this. You're too that. It's just their generation, right? And I had brought it up to my mom before when I was late 30s. I hadn't wasn't really thinking about it, but we were out for a walk and she started talking about it. And I remember saying, Mom, you don't actually need a partner to get pregnant now. And it was blasphemy. Like, I mean, her face was like, what do you mean? And I was like, okay. And then I I won't talk about that
Mm,
anymore.
right. What about your dad?
Oh, my dad was so great. My
So
dad's the
you told, did
coolest
you tell him before
person.
your mom?
Yeah, my dad helped me pick the donor.
Oh my God,
So,
God, there's so many questions.
so many questions,
Your
right?
dad knew before and didn't give it away to your mom, like gave
No,
you the
no.
space to
So
do that.
so he knew I was doing it, but I didn't want him to have to keep that I was pregnant from my mom. So I didn't tell him when it had
Okay.
worked.
Okay.
I think he knew though, but he knew I was doing it, right? Like
Okay.
he knew, my brother knew, my sister knew that I was doing it and trying. Oh, very supportive.
Mm.
Absolutely. Especially my dad. My dad is, oh my God, he's almost 80 now. And he was born in the wrong time. He's so good-hearted and kind-hearted. Not that my mom isn't. My mom is just different, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I had narrowed down my donor choices to two and showed him everything. And I'd been sending all of the packages to my sister and my best friend, Kristen. And so they were helping me as well. I'm like, what do you think of this one? And I'd send them the audio recording of his interview and or his essay, because they all have to write an essay and the medical histories. Like it's pretty in depth, right? And my sister would be like, I don't like this one. I don't like that one. And so then I got down to two. And my dad came down and I said, here's the, because you get pictures of them when they're young. They're like under 5, mostly. And then we read through all the information and I said, okay. And he gave me his opinions and then I chose. I chose.
Dad helped you. Is it like a big book? Like, is it like a big book of people? Like, okay, here's how I imagine it.
Okay.
A huge book, like from Harry Potter. I don't know if we're still
All
talking about
right.
Harry Potter, but from Harry Potter, like a huge book. And then like each page is this thick docket of a person. So it's all the information. It's like, is it like
Yeah.
that?
It's essentially like that, but it's online. It's not like an old book that you gotta blow the dust off when you get it, right? And then say the
These
spell. Say the
these
spell and
men are
ink it
dead
in.
now, but their
Yeah.
sperm's still here.
Their sperm survived.
Okay, so all
Yeah.
online. So okay.
All online. Yeah. So, and I went with the Seattle Sperm Bank. That's,
How do you choose
yeah.
that?
So I kind of looked into all of them and I bought a couple of memberships because I mean, there's so much commercialization to it as well. Like it's a business, right?
Yeah, right.
So you get to see a little bit about each donor, but then you got to buy membership to see the whole pack, right? The whole package.
Oh,
Yeah.
how long's the membership?
I bought a year.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it didn't take me long to choose, actually. I mean, I put in some criteria. I wanted her to have like as high a chance as possible to look like me. So I chose like light hair.
Okay.
I didn't choose blue eyes. The donor had brown eyes actually, but she got them. And yeah, so I did put in some like education was really important to me. Their essays and their audio recordings were very, I listened to them and read them so many times. And actually, at the end of the day, I'm almost went with the other one that I had narrowed it down to. And the reason I didn't is because his parents were killed in a car accident when he was quite young. So I didn't have the medical history of his parents because they were killed. So I thought, well, not to have that information is risky, right? Even though, I mean, they're checked for all kinds of things. They have to do tests, and the one that I had chosen, it was, he had good medical history, and they provide medical history for the parents, the grandparents on both sides, the aunts and uncles, and all the siblings. So it's pretty in depth, right?
Yeah.
And you got to go through each one and this grandmother had breast cancer or this, you know what I mean? Like you get to see a lot of information. So yeah, I ended up picking him. Antonio was his name.
Is it his real name?
I don't think so.
Yeah. The audio recording, what is it? Like, what does he say?
So the person that works at the Seattle Sperm Bank interviews them and
Oh,
asks them, "What do you like to do? Where do you see yourself in 10 years?" Like basically a get to know you
oh,
interview.
okay.
Yeah.
But not video. It's recorded. It's just
No, yeah.
audio.
It's just audio. Yeah. And then there's also a narrative that they write, and it's a letter to any child that is born from his sperm. So, and I
Is
really
there
liked
like,
what he wrote.
what stood out? Do you remember?
Well, what stood out with him is that he was raised by a single mother. That stood out to me.
Oh,
So this was,
huh.
it might seem foolish because I know like genetics are genetics, but I do actually truly believe that there's more to it, right? I feel like, you know, you have an egg and you have a sperm, and all of their experiences, all of their energy is in it, right? So if this was somebody that was raised by a mom and he just loved his mom, and it was really clear in his narrative, in his audio recording, he talked about her a lot and how she really worked hard. She was from Chile, so he was half Chilean. And he talked about how she worked so hard as a single parent to take care of him and to give him the opportunities. And I just loved that because I knew that would probably be me too, right? As a single parent with one income or whatnot. So I just feel like that respect he had for his mom, somehow a part of that would translate into something good, you know?
Yeah. That's
So
really
yeah,
beautiful.
so that's how I chose him.
Okay, so you tell everybody, I'm going to do this. I'm going to use a sperm donor. I'm going to find this person. I'm going to try this with my own money. And if it doesn't work, I'm going to go IVF. I'm going to get out alone. You've taken all these steps. Did anybody surprise you in their reactions, either in like a really beautiful way or in a bit of a disappointing way? And you don't have to name names.
I would say yes, absolutely. I think that there were people I expected would struggle a little bit with the idea, and then they were incredibly supportive. And that felt good because I feel like, okay, these people trust me, even if the path is unfamiliar to them, they trust me enough to believe that I know what I'm doing. And I was definitely surprised by some just unexpected moments of kindness. People I barely knew bringing me presents and making quilts for me. I mean, it was really nice to see that kind of support. Some of the messages that I got from people I didn't really even know very well, saying you're so inspiring, or this is so cool. I mean, because it's not a new idea at back in 2015, but it also wasn't really super mainstream as it is now. I think a lot more people do it now than back then. And then there's also my mom had reservations, a lot of reservations. We grew up Catholic. It wasn't something that she could get behind at first, but I just think it was something that really went against the right way to build a family for her. And it was hard for her. And I think it was just all out of concern more than
Yeah.
anything. It wasn't because she was afraid of what people would think. I don't believe it was that. There might have been some of that, growing up in a small community, being Catholic, you gotta keep up with appearances, right? And all of that. But I
Mm-hmm.
think over time something really shifted in her for sure. And once I found out it was a girl, I think that's when it came really, truly real for her.
Right.
And I'll never forget so I was living with them at the time because I was having some renovations done on my house. So I went to my appointment and my sister came with me. And we were lying there, and the nurse kept saying, he, like that's what she was saying. And I was like, in my head, okay, it's a boy. I wasn't disappointed, but in my head, I was like, what the fuck am I gonna do with a boy? Like, if
You're going to go mountain biking.
I'm
It
like,
comes
oh my
full
God,
circle.
I'm gonna have to like go to hockey games and stuff. Oh my God, I don't know what I
And
will
you would
do.
have. You would
Oh,
have.
I would have. I would have.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I said, so what's the sex? Like, what gender is my child?
Yeah.
And she said, oh, okay, yeah. Hold on one second. She's like, oh, look right here. It's a little girl. And my heart just, oh my God. Because I always just pictured her as a girl, you know? When she was growing inside me, I just always was talking to her as if she was a girl. And so then I was like, thank God.
I can do
I
this.
mean, I'm
She's gonna
sure.
have gorgeous hair. Look at your hair. It's always been gorgeous.
I mean, boys are great. Boys are great. Don't get me wrong. Love them. Yeah. So that's when it became real for my mom because I brought home some pink cupcakes and she was standing at the at the top of the stairs. And I opened the door and she was like, "What? What is it? What is it?" And my mother does not get excited. She doesn't get excited about very much. And she was excited. It's the most I've ever seen her excited when I opened up the box. And she was like, "Oh," and she was so happy. And so from then on, she was on board. Yeah.
Right.
And I was
Um,
also, sorry,
no, go.
there was also some friends I feel like I wasn't disappointed in how they reacted. They were just kind of blasé. Like they didn't really show the curiosity I thought they would show, you know?
Right.
Some close friends, they didn't know anything about the donor. They didn't ask. They didn't they knew nothing. Oh, there's my cat. Sorry.
Why do you think they didn't ask?
I don't know. I don't know. I think people are very into their own lives and maybe it just didn't occur to them to ask about it. Like I had my rocks, I had Kristen, I had my sister and other good friends like Keith. Keith was we talked a lot about it and I remember him and Dave and myself, we went for a walk around Kitty Vitty when they came home and they just let me talk about it, right? And sometimes that's all you want to do is just
Yeah.
have someone listen to you talk about it and your concerns and and all of that. But yeah, there were a few friends that I was disappointed in their lack of curiosity about it all.
I love how you're wrapping that up or stating that their lack of curiosity, because you're right. Even if you're unsure of how someone made the decision, or it's not what you would choose, or you don't know if you'll say something offensive, just ask.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
just ask. And you like allow Donna or whoever in the world in your life to set their own boundaries.
Right.
But when you almost seem disinterested, and maybe it's not, maybe they're constantly thinking of you, maybe they're wondering so much about the donor,
Right.
but it's like
Totally.
their own fear of how they'll come across or if they'll offend. And I'm not making excuses for people, but sometimes it is just that. And you don't even know. Well, number one, you won't even know anything because you're not asking, but
Yeah,
you don't know, I don't know, what kind of divide or barrier that could cause because
100%.
you didn't have that person living with you 4 hours a day. So I'm
That's
sure you were
right.
like, let me talk about this. Let me tell you how I'm feeling. Like somebody show up for me. And
Yeah.
yes, you had Kristen, you had your sis, but sometimes it's really nice for other people to, inject their energy into this
Yeah.
situation. Yeah.
Right. Inject their energy. It's a good way to put it, you know? But I think that like big moments like that, they do tend to show you who has the emotional capacity to kind of sit with complex things because it's
Yeah.
complex, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot to it that maybe they didn't understand why I would want to do it by myself or concern like my mom did. You're single income. Like, how are you going to do it? I think I had a lot of people in my life that were like, how is she going to do that? You know, but they didn't. I think a lot of people don't understand that if you've never had anything different, you just do it,
Hmm.
right? I had
Hmm.
nothing to compare it to. So whatever it was going to be, it was going to be, and I was going to do it. I've never had somebody who did the dishes when I asked them to, right? I've never lived with someone else before. So I wasn't going to be like, God, I wish I had somebody else to do this with me because it was
Right. Because,
never a part of my life,
right.
right? So it was
Right. So it
easy
just
for
made
me.
sense. You were like, I'm just, this is just an extension of the life I already have and have
Right.
curated for myself.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I just skipped
Right.
the step of finding someone else to do it with. That's all, right?
Okay, so the pregnancy, was there any time during it that you were like, how am I going to do this?
Oh my God, all the time.
Yeah, it
All the
was.
time. Oh God, yeah, totally. And I think after I made the choice, it was really exciting at first, but then you're 6 months pregnant and you
You're like,
are,
it's happening.
how am I going to do this by myself? Who's going to look after her when I want to just have a minute? Or, you know, so many things started going through my mind. And there was also, I don't want to say it this way because it's not really, I just can't really find the words to express it the best way, but there was also a sense of loss a little bit, I think, because making the decision to do it on my own did put the idea of meeting somebody, of falling in love. There was moments where I was like, well, that's over now, right? I've let that go because this is my life from now on. And that was probably more hormones than everything because, your life doesn't end because you have a child. It just gets better,
No.
right?
And
If
and you
if
get
that's what you
to still,
want.
yeah, and the possibility to meet someone, especially in our 40s,
Yeah.
the likelihood is they might, they have kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
right.
Exactly. I mean,
But
there
you
were
had to let
other,
go of this like romantic, and I don't mean this in an offensive way, but
nope.
childish, like when we were all little kids and
Yeah.
we were like, we're gonna meet this one
Yeah.
person and they're gonna, oh my God, I found an essay that was like, describe your
Oh God.
soulmate. I'm like, was I in grade 9? Like, how, what in the world would I
Right?
possibly
He
say?
has a
And
seaside mansion. He has like a,
why are you asking me to write this, right? Ask me if I was prime minister, what would I do? Like Jesus.
yeah. I
Anyway,
know.
so I get the idea of letting that go. Yes, I
Yeah.
can appreciate that for sure. And I think a
Yeah.
lot of us let that go, whether we're coupled up or not, because
Yes.
there's some childish fantasy that's just
There
not what
really
it
is.
is.
It's not what life
Yeah.
is, right?
No,
And
no,
we grew
no.
up during Disney movies, you know.
Yes.
It's like, oh, I just met
Come
you.
on.
We're getting married in the morning. You know,
Like
it's
you fell in love with the
ridiculous.
beast that's holding you hostage.
Right?
All right, but listen, I
Yeah,
was
like
in for it.
you're a mermaid and you need to accept that. That's not a good match for you.
You're gonna give up your beautiful voice
You're
so you can go
never gonna be able to speak again
date this dude?
to date this
Like, what? But yeah, as a little
You're
kid, I'm like,
crazy. I
under the
know.
sea. Yeah,
I
you're
know.
crazy.
So funny,
Yeah.
right?
So you're lying there 6 months pregnant, and you're like, that's illogical.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
nuts. And
Yeah.
there's also financial concerns, of course. I think my biggest fear was whether I could provide everything I wanted my child to have on a single income.
Right.
So, opportunities, experiences, security. I always knew it was going to be tight. And
Right.
that scared me because, and as we both know, the financially, economically, things are out the window now, right? I wasn't ever worried though about the her. Like I wasn't ever worried about the love or commitment I would have to her. I knew I had that. I worried about whether I could kind of give her the world the way I wanted to. That fear was a little bit real. But they dissipated as because it's not about it's kids are not it's not about stuff. I really do truly believe that being a good parent is love. It's really all you need. Your job is to help them find out who they are and facilitate it, right? And also to be really conscious. I put a lot of effort into this, to be really conscious of not projecting your own insecurities and your own shit onto them.
But tell everyone the secret of that. How do you do
God, it's
that?
so hard. Therapy.
Mm,
Therapy is the secret to that. For me, it's really hard. I grew up constantly thinking about my weight and how I looked. I really, truly did. And it's only, I would say, within the past 5 years that I've actually started truly dealing with it. I would say I probably grew up with low self-esteem and struggled with what people thought of me. And that shaped how I saw myself. And I just never want that for her, you know? And great therapy is helping me make sure there's none of that I pass on. Because once they leave you, she walks out that door and goes to school, you can't control what's said to them. You can't control any criticism they might get or comparisons, bullying. So the one thing I can control is just constantly reinforcing that she's perfect just as she is, and that everyone's different, and that she doesn't need to earn her worth by being something. So I think that's what I work the hardest on because it's the most important, right? Like if they have a
So,
good self-esteem, they're going to
yeah.
be okay.
In doing that for her, are you being nicer to yourself?
Yes,
Because
yes.
she'll pick up on whatever cues you give, right?
100%. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We don't talk about, I'm not going to say we don't talk about weight because she has been bullied at school fairly recently because she's in a little bit of a bigger body for her age.
Wait,
You
she's
know,
been bullying
she's
school.
grade 4. Man, kids can be cruel.
Yeah.
It's, yeah, not only like kids can be cruel, it's just the way of the world, you know, but it doesn't bother her. Doesn't
No?
bother her. No, we have this thing, and probably shouldn't say this on a podcast, but I always say this to her. Listen, what do we say to people who are mean to us and are assholes? And she looks at me and we say, oh, fuck them. So, you know, that's what we
Love you.
say.
You're such a good mom.
You just say
Yeah.
fuck them, man. They don't,
Yeah.
and you know, you also want to be like, these are, these, they're kids too, you know?
Yeah.
They're learning as they go. I hate saying kids will be kids because, you know, parents should be teaching their kids not to to do those things. But I think parents can teach them not to be mean and be bullies. And then they get into school where there's peer pressure everywhere and they might not mean it, but you know, they say hurtful things and
Testing it
it's,
out, right?
yeah,
And
it's just
oftentimes,
life.
like, who knows who's bullying them, right? Or
Right.
what's going
Yeah.
on in their own little minds and
Yeah.
worlds. Like, I don't think it's the most well-adjusted kid that goes out and bullies. Like, of course, we've all said stupid things while we're growing up because,
Yeah.
you're little idiots. You have no idea.
Yeah.
But those bullies, that you can picture if you think of your
Oh
childhood,
God. Yeah, I can
they
see them
were
all. They're all on my
thriving.
Facebook now. Right? It's like, oh, do you remember what you said to me? Fuck.
Yeah, friend request. You're like,
It's like you may know this person. Oh, believe me, I do. Delete.
yeah, I talked about them in therapy a couple of years
I
ago.
know them.
Delete. Yeah. Okay. Who do you go to when you're like, how do I deal with this coming home from school, like this situation? Or
Yeah.
how do I teach her about that? Is there someone that is your biggest support for those
Yeah, that would
moments?
be so that would be Kristen.
Mhm.
She's a school psychologist, which helps.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
And
I
she
mean, you hit the
is,
jackpot there.
I totally did. And she's also just literally the nicest person on the face of the earth, right?
I've
She's
met
the
her, can
kindest,
attest. Yeah.
most gentlest soul. She has a daughter who is a year older than Maria. So everything I go through, she's gone through it or she's going through it too. So
Right.
we talk a lot and I'll just like, oh, this happened. And then she'll write me back with all of the things. But I think what she helps me do the most is she grounds me and she makes me remember to not be too hard on myself and that you're doing a good job because it's really easy in this society that we live in today to like listen to the mom podcasts. There's the mom groups, there's the cliques, there's all of that. I mean, we live in a very sports oriented city. I'm sure you remember Mount Pearl. It was all about hockey, still is, which is great. It's awesome, but it's not really an artsy community.
Right.
Um,
Right.
So we go elsewhere for that, and because that's who she is. And I tried putting her in every sport you can imagine. She just doesn't want to do it, you know?
Mm.
So we stay active when we move a lot, but she's not into sports. And she says, I'm just not a sporty girl, Mom. Can you stop trying to put me in ball hockey? I don't want to do it. I did. I went out and bought like the fucking equipment, and she went once. And she's like, I'm never doing that
No,
again.
thank you.
No, thank you. Mom, why don't you just listen to me? I'm like, you're right. I need to start listening to
Yeah.
you. So yeah, but she's found a few little good friends, and I always tell her, listen, one or two good friends is worth a thousand times having a
Yes.
group of kids, and nobody that's your person, right?
Yeah.
So I just try and she's only 9. I mean, she'll have piles of friends going through. Every year will be probably a different group until she finds her actual tribe.
Right.
But as a mom, these are the things you think about, right? You think about what they see on YouTube, what devices. I mean, that is like, oh God, the screen time. It's that's hard to manage with kids today. Really hard to manage. They love it. And every single swipe is catered to make them want more, you know?
Mm. I
Everything they
listened to this
watch.
great podcast about how it's like rewiring their brains, and it focused a lot on little boys actually,
Yeah.
because it was about Trevor Noah. I can't
Yeah.
remember who he had on. It was last summer, so what? Yeah, 2025, summer 2025. If you want to go back and have a look, but
Yeah.
it was about how we're creating this environment where we don't let kids just go out and get all their energy out. And it concentrated on little boys in the way that, different hormones at different times. And little boys need to like roughhouse and all this stuff. And now they're like, like arms down. They're not allowed to, don't touch, don't push, don't do this. And now they don't know how to get it out. And they're like on these devices. And it literally is rewiring their little brains. And it's like,
It
I sent it
is.
to my brother who has two boys, and he was in on vacation at the time, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm not listening to this walking around my vacation over here." And I think he was in like Spain. He was like, "And no, thank you. I do not need to listen to this." I'm like,
That's
I'm sure he has
hilarious.
sense because he's into it, but I'm like, right, yeah, because it is heavy, especially.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
really
don't have
heavy.
kids, so I'm like, wow, that's interesting. And then I'm like,
Yeah.
here you go, parents in my world, and it's like another thing to think about, I'm sure.
Yeah. All the parenting stuff out there is heavy, right? Because
Yeah,
it's all what you should be doing.
it's
I'm like,
hard, and it's
but
hard
you
work
can't do it
regardless.
all. You can't do it all. And you come to a point where you got to trust yourself. And I used to listen to all kinds of parenting podcasts, and I still do sometimes, but I did get to a point where I'm like, I need to stop doing this because it's my personality and my thought process that I'm not doing that. Okay, tomorrow I'm going to start doing that. It's that's important. That's important. And like I said earlier, I really have gotten to a place where, you know what? If I love this child as much as I possibly can and facilitate her loving herself, she's going to find her way. She will. And the screen thing, I will say though, like if she's on her phone, she has my old phone. It's not an actual phone. It's just like a little mini iPad. But if she's on it for too much, for too long, her behavior changes. Like it really does. I see it, and I have to take it from her. And you would think I'm literally taking her last drop of water that she's walking through the desert, and I'm taking it from her.
Right.
Like that's how insane it can get. It's a thing. It's real. So yeah, I mean,
Well,
you limit it as much as you can, but it's also
yeah.
their world. It's their world that they live in now. It's not like when we
And
were kids.
no, not at all. I mean, to that point, when you need Donna time,
Hmm.
right? Is that when it comes in? Because, like, yeah, who's giving you a break?
Yeah, there's no breaks. That is one
Mm,
thing about being. And my dad gives me breaks, but unfortunately, he hasn't been super well lately. He's okay, but it's his energy is a bit lower than usual. So I try not to, utilize him as much as I used to, even though they're best friends. Like the two of them are like so close, so close. But yeah, sometimes I do say, I'm gonna go downstairs for an hour and watch my show, right? So I do have to do that sometimes because you do need time for yourself. Like we're human beings. We need to regenerate. We need to think about things that are not and my here's the other thing about her. She has this massive imagination, which I want to foster and keep. Like she still wants me to play with her. I'm a mom who plays. Okay. So I've played with her since she was a baby. Like we've played hours a day. And so she loves Labubus now. And we got a few because I got a bit obsessed myself. But we play with them. Like we
Mm,
sit down and we have scenarios and everyone has a name and like it's an ongoing drama with these Labubus and it's fun. And I don't ever want to say no when she asks me if I will play with her because
right.
soon she's not going to ask me, right?
Yeah.
And I know that's coming. So I'm gonna play with her for as long as I can, even though I fucking hate it sometimes. Like, I'm like, I'm gonna stick this Labubu, like, and sometimes she'll say to me, Mom, you're not playing right. And I'll be like, How are you today? Okay, I guess we'll go to the mall. And she's like, Mom, you're not being your normal play self. And I'm like, You're right, I'm not, because I don't want to do this. I don't want to
I
do
want to
this
go watch my
anymore.
show.
Watch.
I
Oh
do.
my God. I just want to watch my show. So
What
anyway,
was of,
sometimes
of the 9 years, what was the hardest? To be a single parent, what age? All of them? None of them?
it's easier now for sure.
Okay.
I would say the hardest part or the hardest time. I mean, there's hard parts now too, right? As she's navigating friendships and interactions with other people. That's definitely not easy. But I mean, those early days when she was a baby, I mean, you're just on survival mode, right? You're in survival mode the whole time. And then postpartum is a real thing. I wouldn't say that I had postpartum depression. It wasn't like that, but my hormones, my mind was all over the place. I remember that I went through a period of time when she was, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 months, like very early. I got into this, like, I Googled like child kidnappings, child murders. Like, it was insane, but I couldn't stop like looking up like, oh my God, I'm making myself cry over these stories. It's such a hormonal weird thing to do. And I remember telling a friend of mine that I was doing it. He's literally like, "Why are you doing that though?" I'm like, "I
Stop.
don't know. I don't know why I'm doing it, but I can't stop." It's like, and then I go down rabbit holes and I go on deep dives of these true crime. It was weird. It was a weird time. But then I guess my hormones leveled out and I came out of that. And I would say, like, go since she started school, it's gradually she's gotten, as she gets more independent, it's easier for me for sure.
And when you
And
were younger, to give you a break when she was a baby, it was mostly your dad.
yeah, my parents for sure.
Mm.
Yeah, my dad's still the main babysitter. And now my niece, Destiny, who is my sister's daughter, she babysits now. And that's amazing because she is so good with children. She's such a sweetie. So I love giving her a little bit of pocket change and she comes over, just hangs out with Maria, right? So it's easy.
Do
I've
you
been
think you could
lucky.
have done this if you had moved away? Like, let's say you moved to Toronto when we graduated from MBA, and
Yeah.
like, could you have done this elsewhere without your family close by?
I'll say yes, I could have done it. It would have been much harder. Much
Right.
harder. But like I said before, you don't know what you can do if you've never done it. So
Mhm.
you just would have you just make it work as
You
much as you
figure it out.
possibly can. You figure it out. You figure
I
it
mean, you
out.
can think your way out of anything, right? You can
Yeah.
convince yourself that it won't work or you're not prepared or this will happen
Yep.
or this will happen. And like to your point about worrying about all of the things you've worried about, I'm sure every two, like, partnership that has had a child or one or two or three, like, have the same concerns or fears or apprehensions, like,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
I
Kids
mean,
are it's
man,
worrying for the rest of your life, right? That's what
yeah.
it is. That's what parenthood is.
Did you ever think of having more?
I did. When Maria was 8 months, I went back to the fertility clinic and I said, "Do you think, like, are my chances even lower now? Like, what do you think?" And it was Deanna Murphy, Dr. Deanna Murphy. She's incredible. And she said, "I think your chances are just as high as when you had Maria, the same. And that if you want to do it, if you want to have another child, you should do it. You should do it now." But I thought more about it and I just decided against it. Well, first of all, I went to the Seattle Sperm Bank and I contacted them, but there was nothing, no more left. There was
Of the same, of
of the
Antonio.
same. Yeah, Bentonio. So I said, "Well, I I'm good. I'm good. We're
Yeah,
good." And I was
yeah.
probably still a little postpartum in my crazy, crazy time. So I'm glad. Now when I look back, I am glad. I would love it if she had a sibling, but she's very close to Destiny, her cousin, and she's got a lot of love in her life. So, and there's a lot of single child families now.
A
Like when we
lot.
were a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Growing
So
up,
it's
there
okay.
wasn't a lot around us, but yeah. I think women are having a choice now. I mean,
Yeah.
hopefully more women and more women and more women, but yeah, I'm like, I don't remember, one of my friends one time said something about his grandmother having 7 kids, and I was like, you, I literally was like, I wonder how many she wanted. And the look on his face, I'm like, have you never thought of this? Like, your grandmother, in all likelihood, didn't want 7 kids.
Yeah. She
Like,
didn't.
where are you
I know
living?
she didn't.
No.
No.
Right? So I think it's that. Yeah, there's a lot of single kid households, and it's great.
Yeah, it is great.
Yeah.
I think she's more dependent, probably more independent. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Like there's pros and cons, I guess, to everything,
Mhm.
But just because you have a sibling doesn't mean they're gonna be your person for the rest of your life,
No.
right?
And just same as like thinking, oh, I have a partner, now I can have a kid because it's all gonna go great. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, you don't know what will happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, the same with siblings. I mean, you've met mine, right? A little worse.
I know. I was gonna say, but
God. Okay, what is dating like?
okay, well, I don't date.
Okay.
I'm not out there. I'm not out there right now. I have gone online. Like, I mean, that's really the only way to do it. It's
Mhm.
impossible to meet somebody organically and with my life. At least it hasn't happened. So I have gone online and honestly, I'll get a message and be like, "Hi, what are you at?" And I'm like, I can't respond
I
to this.
can't.
I
No.
can't do it. And I always shut it down. So
Mm.
I've created a profile, I would say probably 5 times within the past 9 years, and it doesn't last. It never lasts because I'm just like, I'm not respond if you have nothing to say in your introduction, your first words to me, then, "Hey,
Hate it.
hey." It's just so lame, and I would never reach out to someone myself because
Right.
I don't know why, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, no, it's not on my radar right now, although it
Okay.
has been. I was reading a book. I'm reading a book right now, actually, and it's a really nice book, and it's God, what's it called? Can't remember. Something country. Anyway, it's a love triangle kind of. And there was a scene I was reading, and it was like pretty sexy. And I got this like little tingle, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm still alive. Oh, okay, okay, yeah. I'm more than just a mom.
And your online date app is like, ding.
It's like I'm like, I'll log on to Bumble. So no, it's too I mean, I'll be totally honest with you. I would love to meet somebody, but only if they would enhance my life, you know?
Mm,
Only if they'd bring something. that made life better. I don't want any drama. I don't need to be like dating's hard. Dating's hard. It's work too.
Yeah.
You got to go through a lot of people before you find somebody that you might jam with, right?
Yeah. And now you have to, well, you'll want to gym with two people, you know? Like
Yeah.
I'm sure you're not just dating for Donna anymore, you know?
No, like you have to
Yeah.
think about that. And we're very connected, right? So, because it's just her and I, it's just been her and I. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's we're a package. And a couple of times she has started recently saying like, Mom, how come you never go on any dates? And I was like, what? What are you talking about? What's a
You're like, wait till you
date?
see how hard that is.
Right?
What's a date?
Right,
Any
where'd you
good
get
dads in
that?
the school?
Yeah, right, exactly. And I said, why? I said, what would you think? I asked her, I said, what would you think if like I decided that I wanted to
Uh-huh.
like get married or I brought a man into our home? She's like, no. And so, yeah, I mean, I know that that wouldn't be an issue at all. I mean, she knows exactly who she is, right? She's known her story since she was born. There was never a moment of me telling her.
Okay, I wondered
Yeah.
about that. So right away you were talking about a donor.
Yeah. Yep. She knows
Okay.
she's donor conceived.
Yeah.
I started telling her the moment she was born, like rocking her.
Oh,
I
come
told,
on. That's
yeah,
so beautiful.
yeah, I just never ever wanted it to be something I had to tell her, you know?
Ah,
I
can
didn't want it
absolutely
to be
appreciate that.
some kind of secret that was kept. Was never like that. And she's always known that she could have siblings, and now she's met two of them. Yeah, yeah. We did a
Where
Zoom
are they?
call. So one is a boy who's a year older than her. He lives in Seattle or just outside of Seattle. And I do know that there's a little girl in Australia. We're in touch with them. So like we're friends on Facebook and they're on Messenger. They play Roblox together sometimes. Yeah. And so there is also another little girl I know for sure that's in Australia, but her mom hasn't. I guess it's not, what she wants to do
Yeah.
right now. And I totally respect that. But someday, like, yeah, it's
So
really
when you,
cool.
I guess when you do this, you can fill out a thing like I can be contacted. I don't ever want to be contacted. And so you were open about it. And then how did you get linked up with these other families?
So there's a site called the Donor Sibling Registry. So you go in,
Oh,
you register, and you register your birth and your child. And there's a room, I guess, sort of like or a page for uh, the name of your donor. So like Antonio, the numbers. And I went in and there was five others there. And I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. I knew that there had been, when I chose him, I knew that his specimen had produced other children, but I didn't know anything else but that. So yeah, I went in and I registered her, and then it was probably like, I mean, I was registered on there and I used to go in occasionally to check, but never any messages or anything like that. And then one day there was, and it was the father of the little boy in Washington who he said, love, he said the name of his son and he said he's really curious and wondering if you'd be open to being in contact. And so we sent pictures back and forth and like, oh my God, seeing some of the resemblances too is really, really incredible. Like it's
and right
just
away you told
incredible.
Maria, did you say like, hey, I put you, like I've registered us on this site. This
Yeah.
dad one.
Yeah.
Was she like so excited?
Not really. It
Yeah.
didn't really phase her much.
Yeah. She's
Um, she's always known somewhere in the world she probably had there were kids that used the same donor, and she knew that they were half siblings. So yeah, like I would show her pictures and she'd be like, "Oh, that's cool." and then she'd go back to doing what she was doing. It's so funny because then you're like, "What do you feel about that? How does it make you
Uh-huh.
feel knowing?" And she's like, "How do you mean?" Like, "I don't feel
That's all she
anything."
knows. Right.
Yeah, right. There's never been any big bomb dropped on her, right? So it really has just been an organic path for her. She's always known.
It's
And
just
she
like your
loved,
path to being a mother. You were like,
yeah,
I have lived on my own. I do support myself financially. I built my own life. And that's just like, it's a natural progression to bring
yeah,
this other human into it.
exactly. And you see,
Right.
I read a lot about, because some people, they do keep it secret, right? They don't
Yeah.
even, I've watched documentaries about kids that have grown up thinking their father is their biological father and it's not. And they used a donor because they had to, but due to infertility. It's like, oh man, I can't stress enough that like it's always just best to be honest, like truth. eh, Kids, the truth will always come out, you
Mm,
know?
yeah.
Um, and if you should never, like, I had no reservations about doing it that way. I didn't want any shame to be associated with it. I didn't want it to be a secret. It just felt the best way to do it. And and I say I felt it was the best way to do it. Like I did my research, How should I what's the best way to do it? And that's all the research pointed to, just being
Let her in
truthful.
on
And
it. Tell her
yeah,
her story.
yeah, yeah.
And it normalizes everything instead of being like, yeah, sit someone down on, I don't know, their seventh birthday and be like, okay.
Right.
Yeah,
Guess what?
it makes it something instead
Yeah,
of
it makes it
it's just
something.
natural because it is natural. It's exactly how all other babies are born. It's just a different
Right.
story, right?
Exactly.
What would you say, looking back over the whole process and the decision, like even back into your 30s up to now, what was the hardest thing about it?
Mhm. I would say that the hardest thing about it was probably making the decision to do it. To just There's my life before I made the decision, and then there's my life after the decision, right? And saying goodbye to a lot of ways that I thought my life would go, and being okay with it, you know? And the other hard part is, like I said, just trying to help her, trying not to create like generational trauma, or to change the narrative, right? For her. Not that, I mean, we've all had our traumas or whatever, but trauma can change a lot in the future, you know? And you have to be really aware of it, that it's not guiding you, I guess,
Oh.
you know?
Could every parent go and have like, yeah, it's not guiding you.
It's not guiding you. You can't let it guide you because it
No.
will, and you got to deal with your shit. You got to deal with your
Yeah.
inner child shit. You gotta, and that also means, like, you probably gather a little bit, like my mom and I didn't really get along, we were very different,
Mm.
very different. I don't ever remember being that kid that was like, I never agreed with anything she said. Like, I never did. So I always thought, like, the whole religion thing, and I shouldn't say this probably out loud on a podcast, but I always thought it was foolish. Always. Even when I was little, I just thought it was all kind of foolish. And my mother was super religious, so we just constantly were against each other, and that shaped a lot of who I was as I grew up. But you gotta forgive, and you gotta realize that people, they do the best they can. Like, I mean, it's everyone says it. You do the best you can with what you have, right? And it goes back, like, it's all a cycle, until you stop it.
Please stop it.
Yeah. And you have to put a lot of effort into doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, agree. Looking back, same time frame. Easiest thing.
The easiest thing is just sh- sh- she's pretty easy. She's hilarious, first of all. She's such a funny, funny kid.
So funny, so I get it.
But she has this sense of humor. Oh God, what was it last night? Oh, she asked me about the war that's happening in Iran. And we were sitting on the sofa. And I said, I don't know the details about it. I know it's just started and it's not good. And, the US is involved. And I gave her like some basics that I knew. And then she said, can we look it up? And I said, let's just look on CNN to see what the recent
Real news?
happenings are. And
The real
so
news.
the real news, yeah, the real news. So we go through and I say, oh, there's his name, the old buffoon. And she hates him and she's always saying he's such a douchebag and stuff. And she said, "Oh my God, like this many people had died." I said, "Okay, well, let's move on or whatever." And then there was an ad for vacuum cleaner. I think it was like everyone needs a good vacuum cleaner. Like it was right under the thing about Iran. She was like, "That's crazy. Like, oh, 55 people were killed today, but you know what you need? A new vacuum cleaner." Like, and I just thought it was so like, oh, she's just so naturally funny. Like just to see
Right.
that and get how ridiculous it
Clever.
is, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah, she's really
Yes.
funny. And
Yeah, early, my friend, like how much ads are in your face and you're trying to get something and it's so insidious you don't even notice it, but her
no,
little eyes still are,
yeah,
yeah.
she saw it. She
Yeah.
saw the
She's clever.
ridiculousness of that. Yeah, she's
Hmm.
smart. She's smart. But she can also be a real piece of work, man. Like, I'm telling you, she can try my patience like nobody else. And she is strong-willed and stubborn. And these are all things that I know that she's going to need in her life. So I try my best just to kind of navigate it. You know, girls can be challenging too, right? There,
Oh yeah.
there's
We
ups
all
and
are.
downs. We all are, exactly.
And like letting her be her own human is challenging because,
Mhm.
sometimes it was like, just do it because I said it. It's like, but I need to
Hey, it's
understand
like,
why,
because I said so. Because I said
Yeah.
so. Yeah,
And I
it's
get
just,
that sometimes it's like, because I said so, just fuck.
right.
But I remember being on a train one time with a friend of mine, and she has three kids, and one of them was leaning against the thing. It was a subway, and they were leaning against the door, and she was like, "Please lean off the door," and he was like, "Why?" And she was like, "Okay, here's what could happen." And we were exhausted. We'd been out all day. Anyway. They live in Europe. We were over visiting them. Like, it's busy. You're like trucking three kids around cobblestones. Da da da. There's people everywhere. And I watched her patiently explain to him what could happen if that side of the train opened. Because, like, we'd gotten on the other side. So he was like, that's the side that will open. And I was like, fascinated because I was exhausted as well. And I didn't have kids with me.
Yeah,
And when they all went to bed and we were up, having a glass of wine, I'm like, you are such a patient mother. And she was like, but I want him to know. I don't want to just be like, because I said so. Because when I'm not
yeah,
there, he'll do it. And what if he pulls up to a train station where he's on that side of the tracks? I'm like, right. That's actually quite
right.
smart. But like,
It
I
takes
was
a lot of
tired. I would have been
foresight.
like, because I fucking told you not to lean against
Yeah,
that
yeah,
fucking
because I'm your
area.
parent and you're going to
Yeah.
listen to everything I say, you
I
know?
still think of it. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
parenting
that's
is
good.
it's work. It's like being conscious even when you're exhausted
Uh,
of like why you need to say the things that you need to say. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Bedtime is tricky sometimes. She's like, well, I'm not tired though. And I'm like, well, you have to be tired. So
Yeah, like I am.
you've been up. I'm exhausted. So we
Yeah.
are going to bed.
I'm
And
exhausted.
and usually I fall asleep in her bed. So much so that like last week she literally was like, because usually she would come over and get in my bed halfway through the night, like pretty much every night. And so, but I've just been falling asleep in her bed and then waking up the next morning. And she'll say, Mom, you got to start sleeping in your own bed. I'm like, oh, okay. Okay. I will.
Here's where we
Okay.
are.
Yeah. I need my space. And she's right into makeup now. Loves makeup. Loves makeup.
Mm.
Loves highlighter. but, but uses it as foundation. So like
Yes.
it's not just here or here.
It's cute.
I'm like, you look like Edward fucking Cullen when he goes into the sun, and you cannot wear that going out. Please, for God's sake, take it off.
Good. Okay, how
Oh,
is Donna doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Therapy has helped me get pretty settled. Like we're together with the perimenopause and stuff. I would probably say I'm in menopause now, but I am taking HRT and it has
Thanks.
seriously changed my life.
Same, game changer. Do you do the
Game
patch or the
changer.
gel?
I do the gel and I do
Same.
progesterone in the night.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't even, you don't realize what a beast you were until you come back to yourself. It's like, oh my God, I was awful for a
Yeah.
couple of years there.
It's a game changer. I got on it early, I think, because my sister went through absolute misery with perimenopause and she's 7 years older. So she was so open to me about her beast years
Yeah.
that when things started to happen, I was like, oh. And so, yeah, and not that I had an easier time with it. I had a hysterectomy, like I've gone through some things, but
Okay. Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, a couple of years ago. I had not endometriosis, the
Okay.
endometriosis. Anyway, I still have my ovaries, so I still get to like go through perimenopause and all that. But I don't know if I'm in menopause because I don't bleed anymore. It's amazing.
Right.
But I do know when I'm on my period because I still have, every now and then I'm like, I'm gonna if David choose any lot, and I'm like, oh, period.
Yeah.
But I
I'm
did get
gonna
on
lose it.
HRT early because I saw what my sister went through. So when I was like, I'm not sleeping well, my gynecologist put me right on HRT, and then
Yeah.
I don't know if it's placebo and I don't care, but within 3 days, slept solid.
I
And I'm
know.
like, oh my God. And so my sister-in-law and I were on vacation together this past summer. I think for the 7 days we were together, an hour a day, we're like, anyway, HRT, da, 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 and it's made me this,
Yeah.
it's made me this. And it's just like even things like I'm like, oh, do we all become a little more anxious as we age? And then it's like, oh my God, anxiety is a part of this. Like,
Yes.
what the what? Anyway, so
And
yeah, I
nobody
get
tells you.
no.
Nobody
I mean,
tells you.
yeah,
You have
I
to
had,
you have to find it all yourself. You had
yeah,
Nadine. Sorry,
Danielle.
you had Danielle. But yeah,
Yeah,
no,
she
I
was a real
had
gift.
to you just think that there's something you're sick or something's going
Mhm.
on. And then you look it up and it's like, "Oh no, it's just this is part of life as a woman." And
Yeah,
I
and
just don't believe in suffering if you don't have to.
fuck no. And
No.
like that's what angers me about it. It's like, well, this is just life. It's like, yeah, you're at that age. And it's like, but I don't I would like to sleep through the night again, please. Like
Yeah. I
what?
don't want to like wake up as if I was just had a shower, you know?
Yeah,
And
thanks.
feel awful and clammy and
No.
gross. And I just,
HRT.
HRT, my mom,
So
I mean, my
great.
mom doesn't know about it. So I keep things from her sometimes because, 1,000 years ago, it was deemed that it could cause breast cancer, even though that was like a
Yeah.
very small sample and it wasn't even a good study.
Oh,
And it
now it's
has
come out that
been
there are,
debunked completely and that it's
yeah, but it's
actually people still believe that, you
it
know?
screwed a whole generation of women. Like
Yeah,
it really, really did. But
it really did. I would rather,
anyway.
even if it did cut my life a little short at the end, I would still stay on it because I would rather live a life that is peaceful and I am myself and happy and maybe lose a year or two at the very end when I'm like 120.
Yeah, take
Then
it.
yeah, I'd rather
I know.
I'd rather live that way than in misery for the
Yeah.
next 40 years.
Right? Can you imagine? And they're
No.
like, oh, we don't know how long it lasts. HRT, everybody.
Might be
HRT.
forever. HRT.
I know. But
Oh
you'll
my.
live long. A miserable fucking life.
Yeah, it's gonna be awful from here on in.
Everyone's gonna hate you, and equally you'll hate them back. But
Yeah,
you'll live.
you live.
Uh, Thanks for coming on and telling me your story. I really,
Oh, it's
really
been a real
appreciate you.
pleasure.
And
I didn't know how
it's
much I
so
had to
nice to see
say.
you.
You
Mm,
too. You too.
yeah, I just love you. You're just, I remember when you posted that blog. I forgot you had a blog. I was thinking it was on Facebook, but you opened up conversations with me and my sister because it's something she had considered at one time. She's older than you, so I think by the time you did she was like, I'm aged out, but she really strongly considered it, and we had some really beautiful conversations. And yeah, when your name comes up, it's always we admire what you did, and I know
Oh,
a lot of people became moms and dads, and I mean, I admire all really good parents, but yeah, you opened up the door for some really beautiful combos. So thank you.
well,
Thanks for
thanks,
sharing it.
girl. Thank you. It was
Yeah,
my pleasure.
yeah.
I
And
loved
I'm gonna
it.
go see Keith this Friday. We're having dinner
Oh my
together.
God, I
So
love it.
tell him
Is
hi.
are you going to Toronto or is
I'm
he
going to
coming to
Toronto
Ottawa?
to see him.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
I'm gonna
haven't
go see
seen
him
him
and
in so
Dave.
long. God, I got
So
to.
much.
I know. I miss
I can't
him.
wait to tell him we did this. I think I told him we were doing this. So anyway, our shared
Tell him
friend
I love
Keith.
him.
I will. Mwah. Thank you, Donna. Thank you.
You're
Thank you. Thank
very
you.
welcome.
Have
Take
a beautiful
care.
night.
Bye.
Bye.